NJSLA Adaptive Field Test. Here we go. This is just a quick little refresher. I know we did a big training for everybody on October 13th that are in service, but a couple of people have asked, hey, I was kind of feeling it out that day, trying to figure out what all the screens were, and so some people asked for just a quick refresher. I'm going to visit a lot of the faculty meetings in the next week or two, but some people said if I just had a 5 or 10 minute little recap video, a refresh video, that would help them and they would be good to go. So here you are. This is for you. First of all, I have all the links that you could need. If you go to our staff resources page, I always try to put everything there for you anyways. There's two things I'll highlight here. Down at the bottom are two links, one for the New Jersey assessment portal for all the links, other links that you need, and then this one's for the Tide portal for anyone, school coordinators navigating things on the back end. But for most of you, you're going to use this top one, New Jersey assessment portal. I'll show you that in a sec. But also don't forget on our curriculum and instruction site, Anne Marie has been putting the very first section here is a section on NJSLA, NJGPA field test, and we have the unit times, the dates, some practice items, the scripts, anything you should need, training resources. The training resources have like 300 slides from the state. I'll try to spare you that, and hopefully this video is enough for you. But so don't forget, our curriculum instruction site already has all sorts of great information here. Again, here, if you click the NJDOE assessment portal, it's going to bring you here. Now, it's going to bring you to this testing personnel for you, the teachers. The students for practice tests can use this one, which I will show in just a moment. But the day of testing, students, if you remember, similar to TestNav for Pearson, students will be at their login screen, so they should sign out of their Chromebook. And at that login screen, we'll click the Apps button to go to the new app called Secure Browser. I know, it's very exciting. Not as exciting as TestNav, but so they'll use Secure Browser, and that's how they'll kiosk into their Chromebook. For today, I'm going to show you the practice sites, but there'll only be one little minor difference on the day of testing. And again, the testing will start the week of November 10th. First here, I'm going to click on the Test Administrator Practice section here, but on the day of testing, you're actually going to come down to this one, Test Administration. It's going to bring you to kind of similar places. Your login will work on both of them, but day of testing, whether you're on the 10th, the 12th, 13th, or 14th, you'll go here. For today's demo, I'm going to go here. And so this will be for a test administrator login here. I apologize that I'm going to flip back and forth on a lot of these screens here. This is the student page, so if the students want to try a practice test and ultimately these screens will look very similar the day of testing, they can go here. I'm going to click practice tests. So this screen is the student screen. This screen is the test administrator screen. I'm going to get rid of some tabs to kind of make this simpler and allow me to log in first to act like I'm a test administrator. All right. As a test administrator, when I sign in, you're not gonna see a whole lot because I don't have any active sessions, and you'll just see this big giant button on the side, start a new session now. You can tell again, I'm in the practice test administration, so I'm not actually starting anything for real. However, for practice, to show the practice steps, this is still pretty valid. So as the teacher, I come in here and say, great, we're going to start a new session. I'm going to pick my school. I'm going to say the high school. You are probably not going to have to pick your school. I'm Matt Shea, so I see a lot of schools. And then again, this is mainly for the practice test, but you'll see something similar the day of. So maybe we're doing mathematics first. So I'm going to say we're going to be doing math 8th grade. And now I can start a new session. Truly, we can test multiple grades in one room as long as it's the same test. So, if I had 6th, 7th, and 8th grade in a room, maybe I would have that for a small group that has extended time or something. I could have them all in the same room because it's the same time frame. And so I could actually select each of those I'm not going to just for this example. Or if you're ever helping with makeups, and there's only so many of you that are going to be helping with makeups. We're not doing makeups for the field test, so here we are. So I'm going to click Start Session, and you're going to notice up here, I now have active session ID. So I've started a session. It's eagerly awaiting students. You'll notice my approvals has not lit up yet because I don't have any students in here yet. Now, let me flip over back to the students page. For the practice test, and notice that practice test is selected up here on the upper right. I'm going to just continue as a guest. On the day of, first, they should be on the operational site. And second, we're going to have these testing tickets for the students that our school coordinators will very graciously share with you, and that you'll come and pick up, the day of in your folders or buckets, however you're getting them. And the kids would enter in their first name, their username. They'll enter a password that will be on that ticket, and then they'll come. So I'm skipping that step because I don't have a ticket today. I'm going to continue as a guest, and then it will come and ask them, "Oh, great! What's the session ID that you're going to join?" And that is on this page, the session ID I started. In this case, for the practice test, but really on the day of, it will look somewhat similar. It'll create this code that your students are going to enter in. Now for the students for practice, they could click guest session and go select which grade and which test themselves. But I'm actually going to join the session so you can see kind of more of what it will look like. This is making the student select that, yes, to confirm I am in 8th grade. So this code is associated because I selected 8th grade math. This code is associated with this. And so now here the student waits. So you'd be reading through the directions. And by the way, we do have the directions here. You can see I open them up so I could read through and say, okay, I'm going to read this direction and read that direction and read this direction. So we have the scripts kind of ready to go. It's 22 pages, but it's not 22 pages that you're going to read. It's really a couple of grades for 2 or 3 pages. So there's not that much there. So the student is now waiting for me to start the test. So I'm reading through my instructions. I'm telling the students what they're going to be able to do. So back on this tab, as me, the teacher, I see, oh, great, some kids have joined. Let's go look that up. And so I can see, in this case, it's guest. On the day of testing, I'd see each student's name, and they'd start to pop up here. So this is the part that is sort of like the unlock from Pearson. If you did NJSLA before in Pearson in TestNav, here I'm going to either approve those students or reject those students. The only reason I can think to reject a student is they ended up in the wrong classroom. It shouldn't actually be there, but otherwise I'm going to approve them. So when I click that little check mark, when I finally get to that point, the student's ready to begin. Over on this side, you can see the student is ready to go. Now here it's asking me to view attributes because I can add some as practice. For the day of testing, we've assigned the students their correct testing attributes, accommodations. You say tomato, I say tomato. And so a student will begin test, and first it will walk them through, normally it would walk them through a functionality test, so it would test their sound, it would test their mouse, and do all those things. This is just jumping them right in because I did a practice test. And students are welcome to come in here and do these practice tests and see some of the tools, how to click next, some of the tools that are going to be available in here for the students on that day. You as a test administrator are going to see, if I had 15 or 20 students in here, they would all be listed. It would show their progress. I'm hearing on day 1, because today is the first day that the testing window is opened. On day 1, this seems to not be working real great. I don't know if that's because this is a field test and it will work better in May, but I'm hearing from a lot of schools that the progress bar is not 100% working. And again, that could be because this is a field test. But you can see all of that here. And again, I showed this on October 13th. If there is a student I really want to pay attention to, if I've got 20 students, you can pin them and they'll stay at the top. And so I can kind of scroll back and forth and see the different students and their progress. But this one will be pinned because I really want to pay attention to that student's progress. And so that should kind of help you out. Now, the stop session button here should only be hit when you are done with testing. It's not supposed to be hit because the teacher is switching out. If I click that stop session, the kids get paused. They can no longer continue with the test, and I would have to open a whole brand new session and have the kids sign into that new session if I stop this. Now, if I get logged out, that session is still going. I can sign back in, even potentially on another device, and that session should still be active. But the second I click stop session, the kids are done. So you need to be very careful before you hit that. Like, all the students should be submitted or they're out of time, and that's it. And they should submit. So now when I click stop session, it'll give me that last warning that I just told you about. And there we go. And now that session is closed. And that's it. So you'll see the testing dates down here again. It should be straightforward. I feel bad that it is going to be 4 hours of field test over 2 days. But the state, that's what they wanted. It's good for us because we'll get to see it. I feel bad that it's a little long for the students, but they'll get a good feel for it. You'll get a good feel for it. It is mostly straightforward. I'm sure we'll have some hiccups along the way, but we've kind of tested some things out on the IT end. We'll be available that day to help you out. We expect everything to go fairly smoothly. I'm hearing pretty good things from other districts that did start today on October 27th. But hopefully this video helps you kind of see all those pieces of the puzzle and piece it together, what your screens look like, what the students' screens look like, and what that script looks like. It should be mostly straightforward, just kind of slightly different clicks than what we had done with Pearson. But hopefully this helps you out. And for those that wanted a refresher, hopefully this makes you feel good. Thanks for watching.